As the United States entered the evening following Election Day 2020, many were concerned that a deeply disliked president would once again be declared the winner despite losing the popular vote. Many, if not most of us who are out on Chicago's Daley Plaza that evening, have low expectations for sweeping progressive change coming from a Biden administration, or from voting in general, for that matter. The fact remains that the right to vote is a basic democratic freedom that should be defended. Republican Party efforts to suppress the vote, particularly the votes cast by black and brown people, were abundantly clear prior to November 3rd. Now that the voting was over, only the most naive would trust the ruling party to protect the votes already cast.
Good evening, Chicago! I'd like to welcome everybody this evening to the largest Chicago demonstration to protect our election. Make some noise! My name is Erica. Let me be clear. The will of the people will be heard today. The people have spoken. Across race and place, we voted in overwhelming numbers to move this country forward and start addressing the serious issues that we face. From Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, Detroit to Atlanta, ballots still need to be counted. It will be black and brown voters again who will turn out to move this country forward, and we need to do more to move the issues that we face every day forward. My name is Erica Bland-Durosinmi, and I am the Executive Vice President of SEIU Healthcare, Illinois, Indiana. I represent essential workers who work in hospitals and nursing homes and home care and child care. Those same essential workers are putting their lives on the line every day, doing what we ask them to do, keep us safe. Those essential workers were fighting before this election for health care, for paid sick days, for a fair wage. And we want to make sure that we honor those essential workers today in health care and make sure that their voices are heard. Across this country, we fought for a fair and free election, for people to have the right to cast their votes, whether it be by mail, in person early, or on election day. And we will not stop until every vote is counted. Essential workers are voting to vote for their co-workers who have died during this pandemic, protecting us, keeping people safe, providing the care that is necessary to people who need it. And we should honor those essential workers and make sure that their voices are heard. They are fighting for more than just themselves. They're fighting for the clients that they care for, the elderly people that they care for, and the children who are our future. That's what this election is about. This election is about making sure that no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, you have the right to vote, and that vote should be counted, and your voice deserves to be heard. Let me hear you chant, count every vote.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
So while we're out here, we want to be mindful that COVID-19 is very real, and our numbers in Illinois continue to go up every day. So we want to make sure that people are socially distancing, keeping 6 feet between you and the person next to you. We want to make sure that you are wearing your face mask at all times. You will only see speakers remove their mask to come up here to the microphone to speak, and then they will put them back on. And make sure that you sanitize your hands as much as possible while we are out here. Also, to receive updates on further actions, we ask that everybody take their phones out right now Y'all already got y'all phones out. Y'all laugh. We want you to text "We Defend" to 787-753 to get involved. You can do it as one word, you can do it as 2 words. Again, we are texting "We Defend" to 787-753 to make sure that you get updates as we continue to make sure that our voices are heard, our feet are in the street, and our people matter and count. All right, so without further ado, we're going to have our next speaker come up. Kobe, the co-chair of the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Kobe.
Hello, hello, hello. Everybody say Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Now that is a sentiment held by hundreds of millions of people in this country and by billions of people all over the world. Okay? Donald Trump. Now here's the thing. That did not win the election in 2016. He lost the popular vote and he's going to lose the popular vote and the Electoral College this year. But we've known for months that Donald Trump is on some corrupt bullshit. Okay? We have known that racist, white supremacist, capitalist motherfucker is not going to give up power fairly. Okay? So now, when he said early this morning that he won that election, that was a challenge to the people of this country, not just to the Democrats, because I understand the Democrats don't necessarily represent everybody here. Okay? But we have to show up for ourselves. When Donald Trump says that he's going to stay in power, we have to be the ones to remove him. So that's why we've got to put pressure on these politicians. We have to tell them not to recognize Donald Trump. Okay? We have to tell them Donald Trump needs to get the f*** out of office. And it's bigger than that. Okay? Because it's not just about removing Donald Trump. It's about dismantling the white supremacist system that gave us Donald Trump in the first place. Now we've been fighting against Donald Trump for 4 years, but we've been fighting against racism, we've been fighting against colonialism for 400 years, and we are not going to stop until we win. Now that's why we have to be out here in these streets like you all are. We have to be out here day after day like we've been out in these streets since May of this year. We have to be out here and we have to say loudly and with as much force as possible that the way things are right now is unacceptable. It's got to change. We are tired of police killing black people in the streets and getting away with it. We are tired of innocent people going to jail. We are tired of millions of people being locked up during a damn pandemic. So, the Chicago Alliance has spent nearly 50 years trying to dismantle the prison industrial complex, trying to dismantle white supremacy, and we are not going to stop. We are never going to stop until we are free. So what we're fighting for right now is community control of the police. That means, yeah, you can clap for that. That means that the people have the power, that the people get to decide CPD's policy, that the people get to decide CPD's budget, and that the people get to hold police accountable. Because we know that no mayor is going to hold the police accountable. We know that they're not going to hold themselves accountable. We've seen what happens when police investigate themselves. Okay, so we have to do that. We're tired of police walking around with 15, 20 misconduct allegations against them in schools, having power over young black people. We're tired of that shit. That shit to end right now. We're tired of schools being shut down, hospitals being shut down, everything being defunded but the police. So that budget has to go down right the f*** now. And we know that Lori Lightfoot is not going to do it, so we have to do it. We have to take power as the people And one thing that they don't like to tell us, just look around at this crowd, okay? Look at the crowds that we've had since the uprising started in May. Look around at the crowds that have been in the streets in every fucking state in this city. Hundreds of millions of people have taken to the streets to demand an end to white supremacy. What they don't want us to know, because they bring out their tear gas, they bring out their batons and their guns, they can do all kinds of shit to us. What they don't want us to know is that they can never outnumber us. There's more of us than there is of them. And the last thing I'm going to say is that in Chicago right now, there are hundreds of people that we know of who have been tortured into confessing to crimes that they did not commit. Now say that ain't right. Say that ain't right. Say that's f***ed up. That's f***ed up. So we have to free all of those people. We have to put pressure on Governor Pritzker, tell him to free Gerald Reed, free all of them, free them all. Free them all. And we have to put pressure on the older persons in this city and tell them to pass CPAC right now. Okay, so I'm going to end with the chant. When I say CPAC, I want y'all to say fight back. Because this is a fight that we're in. Okay, we're not here to ask for things. We're here to demand our freedom. So when I say CPAC, I want y'all to say fight back. CPAC! 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 When I say fight back, you say CPAC! Fight back! Fight back! Fight back! Thank you so much. I love you all.
Thank you, Kobe. So we've been doing interviews all day and people want to know, why are we out here when votes are being counted? We are out here even though votes are being counted because there are efforts to suppress votes that were cast legally. And we will not stop until every vote is counted. Let me hear you say, count every vote.
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 We will now hear from Esmeralda from ICER. Esmeralda?
Hello everyone, my name is Esmeralda and I'm a leader with the Democracy Project and a fellow with the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council and the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, who are both 501c3 status. Yeah, give it up, give it up. So, 16 other fellows and myself have worked together to engage new immigrant and low propensity immigrant voters from Kankakee all the way down, way up to Waukegan. Together with thousands of grassroots leaders and volunteers, we have reached out to 350,000 immigrant voters in Chicago, suburban Cook County, and the collar counties. We have made over 1.5 million calls. We have sent over 400,000 text messages and got commitments from over 30,000 immigrant voters across the state to support a pro-immigrant and racial justice agenda here in Illinois. Yeah, give it up. That's a lot of numbers right there. I personally led the Get Out the Vote efforts here in Brighton Park alongside leaders from BPNC. We have targeted over 12,000 voters in the Brighton Park area. I did this because I am one of the 700,000 DACA recipients across the country whose futures are unknown. Even though I am not able to vote myself, me and the 16 other Democracy Fellows across the state gave it their all to get out the vote. You're welcome. And as the votes get counted, we already know that our communities won because we strengthened our connections across the state and built more collective community power together. The fight is not over. I refuse to let our community's work be in vain. The fight to defend democracy is happening right now, and we need to continue to build. We organized, we voted, and now we organize some more. So let's go. Our communities come in support of Black Lives Matter. abolishing ICE, economic justice, and supporting all workers as essential and demanding health care for all. So now, we demand that every single vote gets counted.
My name is Amisha Patel, and I'm Executive Director of Grassroots Collaborative, and I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you today. I'm going to keep this short because we got some marching to do. But it's been clear from the beginning that democratic rights have never been given to us. We must always come together and demand. We've never had anything given to us. We've had to fight for it, and we will continue to fight for it here today and tomorrow and every day that we need to make sure that this election is not stolen from the people. We must count every vote because too many of our people have already had their rights stolen from them. We're here to challenge the power of the billionaires and the corporate forces and the white supremacists who have stolen our voices for their own gain for far too long. That happens here in Illinois, and it certainly is happening across the country, and we're going to stand and fight to make sure that that does not happen anymore. And we know that even after this fight, this is just one step. We know that to protect real democracy in our neighborhoods and communities, we all have to continue to organize. We have to continue to fight for our justice and our liberation that will not be handed to us through the current electoral system. So yes, we will fight this attempt of a coup, and we will continue to fight for our people and our communities to make sure that we have justice and liberation for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Amisha. Thank you, Kobe. Thank you, Esmeralda. As we stand here, votes are being counted and attempts are being made to stop votes from being counted. We are going to do everything in our power to make sure that votes are counted. If that means that we have to go to other states to make sure that when votes are counted, someone is there holding people accountable, that is what we will do. Counting every vote is our right. I don't know about anybody else out there today, but I know that people fought and died for me to have the right to go to the polls. So I'm going to make sure I exercise that right every chance I get, and I'm going to make sure nobody gets in my way when my vote needs to be counted. We are standing here tonight under this sky, and there's a saying that democracy dies in dark. So what I need everybody to do is take your cell phones out, turn on your flashlights, and shine light on this process to make sure they know every vote counts, and we won't stop until every vote is counted. Woo! It's a beautiful sight to see. So we're going to do this chant one more time, and then we're going to get ready to move. Count every vote!
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 Thank you.
there's the brass out front.
The joy and relief that millions felt with the end of Trump's presidency cannot blind us to the even more difficult tasks that lie ahead. The leadership of the Democratic Party is committed to returning to the political norms that preceded Trump, norms that in many ways paved the way for him. Democratic administrations giving lip service to economic and social justice have been punctuated by ever more rightward Republican ones, from Carter to Reagan, from Bill Clinton to George W. Bush, from Obama to Trump. Decades of stagnant or falling working-class living standards, punctuated by gross racist and other attacks during Democratic administrations, have paved the way for ever more belligerent Republicans coming to power. To avoid a repeat of another Trump-like administration in 4 or 8 years, we need to force the Biden-Harris administration to take radical measures for racial, economic, and environmental justice that it won't take without that force being brought to bear. If the last half-century has taught us nothing else, we can't leave to the politicians the fight to stop racist police murders, the fight for affordable wages and housing, the fight for immigrant and refugee rights, the fight to defend women's control of their bodies through abortion, the fight to defend our public schools and mental health clinics. And when nonprofit organizations allied to the Democratic Party make excuses for their bosses' inaction, we must confront their attempts to deflect our struggles. Finally, we must be internationalist as well. As we support the right of oppressed communities to determine their own futures, so must we oppose U.S. imposing its will on the other peoples of the world. We must reject liberal excuses for the bipartisan consensus that says the United States and its close allies have the right to dominate the rest of the world. Their drone bombings, assassinations, invasions, sanctions, and support for brutal dictatorships have caused unimaginable suffering to millions. As in domestic politics, we confront the huge diversion of funds from social needs to the police, so must we confront the obscene military spending that makes the world's richest country dead last among industrialized countries in its support of working-class housing, education, healthcare, childcare, and public transportation.
We've seen